Most artists don't want you to know what I'm about to tell you about starting an art business, but I believe that if you give the world what you love most, you might be surprised about what the world gives back. And so I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
What a lot of artists on YouTube never say about starting an art business is that there's a formula that all of them have followed. There's a step-by-step process you see in every single successful art career. And by copy-pasting this formula, you can manufacture an art business for yourself. By knowing the steps, you can teach yourself all the necessary skill sets to make every single step a success. What you hear on YouTube is that you simply need to price your art correctly, or that you need to post consistently, or that if you never quit, it will somehow magically work out in the end. And this is simply not how it works. A successful art business is a product of thousands of small decisions over time. And the funny thing is that you can choose to make those decisions. You can choose to put yourself in a situation where you force yourself to make the right decisions. There's a formula that leads towards a successful art business, and it's not hard. And you just have to know what it is.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Now the first step in our 3-step process is choosing a platform to sell your art on. Now, at first sight, this sounds like a very easy step, but making mistakes here will have an impact on everything else you do afterwards, because everything will go through this sales page. And so this is an extremely important step. So you basically have two options. You can either choose an existing platform like online galleries or Etsy or things like that, or you can build your own website. Now, building your own website is going to be the most powerful of those two options, because if you have your own website, your own domain, you can use cookies to track visitors on your website, and then you can use that information to advertise on a later date. And so what you could do, for example, is a visitor that goes on your website, that decides to buy something and puts it in their cart, but then doesn't proceed with the purchase, then you can collect all of those types of visitors, and then you can put that item that they almost bought in front of them a couple of weeks later while they are scrolling on the internet. So this is what we call retargeting campaigns, and retargeting campaigns is where all the money is online at this moment. Now the problem with this is that you need a budget in order to do this. You also need to know a lot about advertisements so that you don't waste your money on those things, and you also need to know something about website building. And as a beginner artist, expecting that you will learn those 3 things in a couple of months, especially considering that you also have to learn a lot of other things, making art, selling art, social media, etc, 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 these expectations are just unrealistic, and it's not really going to happen. And so for most artists, I would go for the first option, namely choosing an existing platform like Etsy or one of those online galleries. If you want to know more about the best place to sell your art, I have a whole video going very deep into this topic. I'll link it in the description and in the iCards. Let's move on.
Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration, and if I make a mistake, it's called education.
The second step is to drive traffic towards that sales page, for the simple reason that if no one stumbles upon your sales page, no one will buy your stuff. And so this ideal that you simply need an Instagram page, and that somehow people will magically fall in love with your art through that, and then magically contact you in order to buy a piece, and then magically not back away when they hear the price that is way out of their budget. This is just a myth. This is not going to happen, and just not how it goes. And so you will need to drive traffic towards your sales page. And in order to do this, you basically have 2 options. You can either go for advertisements and drive traffic through ads, or if you don't have a budget to do that, you can choose the social media route and use that social media following that you build up to then drive that to your sales page. Now, as much as I would want to say that both of these things are extremely easy, in reality they're really hard and will take you years to master. And because I assume that most people don't really have the budget to go for advertisement, that most people will go for social media route. And so let me give you my main tip on building a social media following. When it comes to building a massive following on social media and create videos that reach millions of views, tens of thousands of likes, there's one thing that you have to keep in mind. You have to provide value towards your audience in your content. You have to make sure that you don't make content about you and how amazing your art is, but make content about the viewer. And so what does that mean? Making content about a viewer, making content that is valuable and providing value. Well, it means that you will have to solve a problem that the viewer has. And the two most common problems that viewers have is one, the need for information. They simply don't know a particular thing and want to know that. And two, the need for entertainment. They are bored and they just need a quick laugh on social media. And so your content will have to fulfill one of those two things. If you want to know more about marketing your art, I have a perfect beginner video that dives very deep into this. I'll link it in the description and in the iCards. Let's move on.
Your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them.
The third step is to make art that people want to buy. The reality is that there are problems in the marketplace, and if your art can solve those problems, you will simply sell way more than other artists. And so what does that mean? Let me give you an example. So at this moment, oil paintings reach extremely high prices on auctions. And so there's a lot of love around oil paintings and a lot of trust in oil paintings. And so collectors want to pay way more for oil paintings because it has that proof of work already. And so what's the result of that? Well, I know a lot of watercolor artists, for example, that are very good at watercolor art, spend most of their time on watercolor art and also make some oil paintings. And because 97% of their time is spent on watercolor paintings, they are way better at watercolor painting than at oil painting. Now here's the thing. What all of these watercolor artists have combined is that they sell way more oil paintings and make way more money with their oil paintings, even though the watercolor paintings are way better. And the reason for this is simple. The market wants oil paintings. And so for you as an artist, it's going to be very beneficial to understand what the market wants so that you can then provide that to the market. And this will result in two things. First of all, you will make way more money, and second of all, because of all of that, you will also grab the attention of art galleries because they see that your art is in line with the market demand. That's exactly what they want. And so what's the best way to becoming aware of what the market wants? Well, there are basically two strategies that you kind of have to combine a little bit. The first one is to just test out different art styles and see what people are willing to pay for and want to buy. And the second one is to look at the market and see what is selling. And the best way to do that is to go to art fairs and then look at what these successful art galleries are selling at that moment. And the reason why this is so powerful is because galleries have to pay a lot of money to stand on those art fairs, and so they don't want to take any risks and bring art with them that might not sell. And so all the art that they bring with them is usually art that they know with certainty will sell very well, aka that's the art that is selling very well. And so yeah, that said, if you want to know more about finding an art style that people would want to buy, I have a video about that, just like with the other chapters. I will link it in the description and in the iCards. That said, get the hell out of here.